Are we
Hold
live?
on. Yeah.
Okay, welcome everyone. I want to thank you all for being here today. I know it's a pretty big holiday for everyone at home. If you're not visiting your lost ones at the Calverton or wherever, you're with us today, and we really appreciate it. There's a big day for our memorial of our those that we want to honor. Today, we're going to take our time and spend some time with some really great veterans who've really served, and they're going to tell us how they served, where they served, and why they think veterans are the best hires and leaders. Richie, I know you weren't a veteran, but you want to welcome everyone today, and I'll get started.
Yes, I want to welcome everybody and thank you for taking a special day to go on live with us. We really appreciate it. And all of you are veterans, and that's the whole thing. And thank you.
Okay, so usually our co host is Don Brady, and Don Brady is going to start today with telling us a little bit about his experience in the military and why.
Thank you guys so much for inviting me on the show. My name is Don Brady. I'm actually a U.S. Army combat veteran. I spent 10 years in the Army, and my grandfather was a World War II veteran, and my dad was a retired Army. I lost him about a year and a half ago. And my brother, I'm real proud of him. He's my younger brother. He's 5 years younger than I am, and he's getting ready to retire with 30 years in the Army. So, I mean, actually, his son, my nephew, is a sergeant in the Army. So, whole family, served with the United States Army, and couldn't be more proud of that. And as far as today, I mean, obviously today is not for veterans; it's for those that gave the ultimate sacrifice. And um, I actually put a post on social media and said Happy Memorial Day. And I know it's in a lot of ways it's not a happy day, but we're honoring those that gave us all the freedom that we have every day, and definitely grateful, deeply grateful for that. So
Tell me how you feel about veterans in the workforce and what you see in your company. Tell us a little about your company and what you see in your company.
So I'm the vice president of dealer success for Ship Your Car Now, and I'm the president and CEO of Don Brady Consulting Inc. And I have always, all through my 22 years in the car business, I always put veterans first. When a veteran come in, obviously it's hard to pass up on the discipline and the self discipline that they learned while they were in the military. So it's just, I don't know. Obviously, all veterans love to have veterans around them, but I've always noticed that the type of people that they are, yeah, you can't beat it. You
You
really
can't
can't.
beat it. Well, thank you, Don. And I know what you do is you ship cars anywhere in the country. Tell us just quickly about that.
I can ship them anywhere in the world. So really, from anywhere to anywhere, I can do one vehicle or I can do truckloads. People that watch me on social media, whether it's good or bad, they know what I do because I definitely let them know constantly what I do. I do that, and then and just recently, I'm real excited. I know Richie's going to talk about it, but I actually just became a used car dealer in the state of Ohio. So when I'm talking to people, I've been in their shoes and I'm in their shoes, so I really think I can help.
Great. Well, thanks.
Thank
Well,
you.
I'd like to turn it to Will Ramsey. Will, tell us a little bit about what you're doing now, your experience in the service, and why you think veterans are a great hire.
Well, what I'm doing now, thanks, Gene. What I'm doing now, and I'm honored to be here, by the way. I'm working for a company called, or with a company called Ascent Dealer Services. We're the number one fastest growing F&I product provider in the United States. Proud to be a veteran, served for 4 years in the Army. Was stationed at Fort Eustis, Virginia. Spent my entire career there. Got out a little early, but I do have two brothers that served in the military. My brother Jeff served in the Navy for 30 years. Um, Retired as a master chief. Unfortunately, he passed away 5 years ago from a heart attack. And then my brother Don served in the Army for 24 years, retired as a lieutenant colonel, actually attended West Point, graduated from West Point. And then his son attended West Point and graduated from
Wow.
West Point as well. So veterans, in my opinion, as Don mentioned earlier, the self-discipline and what you learn when you're in the military translates over into the civilian world, and it helps you to stay focused, helps keep things organized. Those organizational skills that you learn in the military typically carry over into the civilian life and help translate into the workspace. I've been in the situation where I've worked in dealerships. I've been in the auto industry for 26 years and have been, everything but a general manager. So I've been in the hiring situation. And just like Don, I typically would look for veterans, and veterans would actually have a space in my heart that I would want to put in the dealership because of the discipline that they learned.
That's an amazing point. And that currently in the industry, 22% of the workforce, it doesn't necessarily mean where we are, but 22% of the workforce are veterans. So dealers across America are getting it, and the image of the dealership is improving by having that type of a guy or gal on the floor, as opposed to a hard sell 1980s, bang him in the head. So I really appreciate that. And, I was married to a Vietnam veteran who is gone now. He's over in Calverton, and we started in Fort Eustis. So that's what it was, Vietnam days, not your days. So yeah, I know it's a tough time to live in that area and grow from there. Well, thank you, Will. Thank you. Jeff, I'm always impressed with everything you do. So tell us a little bit about your campaign in the service and your company and why you think veterans are great hires.
Well, thank you, Gene. Well, to everyone, today is a very somber day, but a day to celebrate in the memory of not only those that we've lost, but those that ultimately paid the ultimate price for our freedom. I'm a veteran, 8 years, 4 active, 4 reserve. I served during Desert Shield, Desert Storm. I'm proud of my fellow brother, Mr. Brady, there, even though I love to give him a hard time. Go Navy, beat Army. But it was an amazing experience for me. Serving this country, it does something for you. It changes your DNA. My father served in the Marine Corps. My father-in-law served during Vietnam. And I always had a calling to serve my country. Matter of fact, the best man at my wedding, Commander Mike McSweeney, just retired recently. And I think about our time together. I think about the journey. I think about the life skills and the leadership skills that we evolved. And as a former naval engineer, it's given me the ability and the skills to grow companies. I've been fortunate enough to be with some of the most successful companies in the automotive space today. I was a VP and an executive with Dealer.com. I spent almost 10 years as the chief revenue officer at Dealer On. Most recently, I served in the role of president of Social Dealer. And today I'm very proudly serving in the chief revenue officer role of an ad tech company called Dealer Alchemist. You don't lead these companies and build them without a significant amount of effort and time. And some of it is lady luck, some of it's the good Lord above, and a lot of it is just the work and determination that is built and honed through the military. And that's really where I developed my leadership skills, the ability to take a crew and accomplish a task against oftentimes insurmountable odds. So
that's the thing that I noticed about you from the very beginning of our relationship, was that you can orchestrate and lead without touching it yourself, but you can motivate people and not reprimand them, but keep them in line and keep them on task and in time. And I think that's something you may have gained from the military. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Some of the leaders that I served under taught me that anyone can bark orders. There's a difference in barking orders and then getting your men or those that are under your command to follow you. What you really need to do is you need to inspire them. And that's why military personnel have been such a great hire for me over our career. And something that is not to be overlooked is the value of military spouses. In my last role, I hired several military spouses to help us shore up what we were doing in a customer support role. And they have the benefit of seeing what leadership really means and what sacrifice means, and truly some of the best hires ever. So I encourage anyone listening to this podcast, if you have the opportunity to hire a veteran, you won't regret it. If you have an opportunity to hire their spouse, absolutely you should do it. You're paying it forward. You may not realize it. Some of these forward bases and some of these locations don't have traditional employment opportunities for the spouses. And it makes such a critical difference in the quality of their life. And, it's a small thing that we can do to repay them for their sacrifice. So Gene, Richie, everyone on the call, thank you. And here's a salute to our fallen brothers and sisters.
Thank you so much, Jeff. And I'm going to come back to you, Will, about just for a minute about the spiritual side and what you're doing now as a pastor, and how you feel the things that you encountered in the military dealing with people. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing now and how you think it's what you've experienced has helped you.
Well, so what I'm doing now is part of the reason why I'm working with Ascent Dealer Services is it allows me the time to. We are in Texas. We actually moved to Texas from Ohio. Shout out to Don. We are actually originally from Ohio, the Cincinnati, Dayton area, and we actually moved to Texas to plant a church. So we're starting a church from the ground up. It's called Hope City Church. That's why I'm wearing the shirt that says Hope Dealer on it. But why we came down here was that very reason, was to start a church from the ground up and to get things going. What's helped me with the military is to be able to adapt to different people. Now, I will say this, I'll just be very transparent up front. I was not walking with Jesus while I was in the military. I was your typical military guy. Just like, typical car guys. I wasn't following Christ when I was in the military. I gave my heart back to him back in 2011. And I got ordained in 2017. So I just recently became a full-on pastor just in the last six or 7 years. But everything that's helped me from the military is to be able to deal with people. I had a job. Believe it or not, got a job in 1989 in the car business when I was 21 years old. And I failed miserably because I didn't know how to deal with people. I didn't have any life experience to share. And I'll tell you what happened is when I went into the military and spent those 4 years in the military, it really helped me to be able to deal with people on a regular basis, be able to speak intelligently, to be able to share my life experiences, and to be able to go through that. So I think that's one of the big things with the military is you get to deal with different types of people and from different walks of life, and you just learn a lot more and learn about life experience when you're in the military. And I think that's going to help me with the church as well as we get started, because we haven't actually planted it yet, but we're getting ready to get started here probably in the next 4 or 5 months.
Well, Richie's going to talk about a little bit about what we're going to try to do to help you with that as part of our of the Institute's pro bono work with veterans. As CMO of White Dove Bird, working under Richie's guidance. The point that I want to make is that we are working with veterans now, and we're helping them start up their businesses, giving them like 3 or 4 months of support to help them do that. I'm going to go now to David Castillo. David's with us for quite some time. He's been working with me. Let Richie know. He can't get in. He's waiting.
What do you mean he can't get in? He's in.
Okay.
He's in right now. There he is. Oh, you see David over here? Is that David? Is that?
No, David, we have David. I was talking about John Grillo. Sorry.
Oh, no, he can't get in. He's not here.
Okay. So, David, tell us a little bit about, I was interested in, and I know you're a veteran who was wounded as well. And let us hear a little bit about your campaigns and what you did in the service and why you think that is being carried forward in your career.
Sure. Well, first of all, happy Memorial Day to everybody. Just repeating what everybody said, this day is to remember those that have fallen, those that have given that ultimate sacrifice to afford us this freedom and opportunity to do whatever we want with our lives. Something that I'll always hold very dear to my heart, and will definitely be appreciative of those that did. My experience, I'm a 9-year Marine Corps veteran. I started off in the aviation side of the house, working on the Harrier platform, and deployed it quite a few times to Iraq and Afghanistan. Somehow ended up falling off of the aviation side and worked with the grunts, worked with the Seabees. So I moved around quite a bit, especially in my earlier years. Once I got back stateside, I took over the training program for my aviation squadron, and eventually I moved into process improvement, and that's really where I built a lot of my experience in the military. The thing that I love about veterans is that it doesn't matter what job you have, it doesn't matter what you do. You, from the moment you step on the yellow footprints or go into basic, you're getting drilled down with process. You're getting drilled down with leadership qualities, how to improve yourself on an everyday basis in just about every aspect. I mean, one of the key things they teach you is know yourself and seek self-improvement. And that's what everybody, whether they're willingly or consciously trying to do it or not, they're constantly improving their skills. They're constantly improving their relationships. And it works out to the point where, I mean, we have the greatest military in the world because of it. I took those skills in process improvement and brought them into the technology sector, then into the finance sector. And it was pretty much cut and paste. I mean, I had to adjust a few things here and there to make it applicable, but the core skills to be able to do so did carry on throughout. And now that working in the automotive sector, same thing. I mean, we have a process, we got to stick to it. And maintaining those relationships with customers, with partners, with anybody that's involved in the business, it really does make things work seamlessly. And that's why I believe that veterans are such a great asset to any company, because you have those core skills, that willingness to work and that motivation. They just need to learn how your company does it. And you'll love having them around.
Yeah, well, thank you, David. We love having you around, that's for sure. I mean, David's been with me since, I don't know, 2014, 2015, and dragging a lot of new business, a lot of business development, new business builds. That's what we've been doing. Greg, your life is hiring veterans. Tell us a little bit about your background in the Navy and what you do, what you believe helped you, and why you think veterans are great hires or leaders.
Yeah, well, thank you. So I really appreciate the invitation today. It's great to be among you guys. I don't have the depth of the military service that you guys do as far as family goes, but I did serve 4 years in the U.S. Navy. And anytime someone says thank you for your service, I kind of chuckle because I got a lot more out of it than I think my ship did. But I'm going to echo what David said. I learned process, right? And just following the process. And if you don't, there's consequences. If you do, you achieve a goal. And fast forward years later, I've spent about 25 years working in dealerships. I was a corporate trainer for 16 or 17 of those years. Got recruited to a Ford store when Blue Oval was launched back in 2000. And the Blue Oval certification was all about process. So it's just a flashback every day. And still today I have an outsourced BDC, all call. I still use some terms, that I use in the military now. Got mainly females working for me. They didn't always get what I'm talking about, but I explain it to them. But, it's just anytime we're going to try something new, I'll mention, well, we got to do a dry run first. And they look at me like, what's a dry run? So I have to explain to them what that is. You do something, make sure it works on land, then it'll work out there at sea. But as corporate trainer, I got to hire a lot of salespeople. And like Jeff, man, I honed in on those veterans, had rapport with them right away, right? But we say they have discipline, but what's that mean? Well, they look right, they're professional, they're squared away, they show up on time, they work hard, they follow the process, they don't cheat, they help their teammates, right? Never let a teammate fail. And they're really taught in their DNA to to really make all their actions and behavior to a common goal. So veterans, and I've hired many veterans, some of them now own dealerships, guys that I hired as Greenpeace. So the once you're in the military, it never leaves you. I've been out of the Navy since '82, and still think about it. Still have dear friends there, but it makes you appreciate the U.S. when you travel abroad, for sure. I was an 18-year-old in Northern Africa, and it's just, wow, we ain't in Kansas no more, as Dorothy would have said. But it's a great experience. I recommend it to anybody. The military just put me on a path that led me to where I am today, and I'm very grateful for it. And I'm also very grateful for all the other people that have, given their damn life. It's we say Happy Memorial Day, man. It's a real thing.
Yep.
It's it's really, this day is really, really hard for some people. So I'm hoping everybody can find some comfort today and some good memories, and just knowing that if you lost somebody in a war or in battle, that they did it to fight for these 330 million people that live in this country, and we need to remember that every day.
I think sometimes in more recent years we're beginning to forget that, and I don't know, but I believe that my generation. I'm older than all of you guys. Some of you could be my children, but I do believe that what we lost is faith in God. You have to go to your temple or your church, or your family will punish you. Inherent cultural things that I'm trying to hold on to, like family dinners and put the phone down, and respect. And the military gives the foundation for that respect. And some of them fought in wars and are gone, and some of them that we just all loved are gone. And raise the flag today and really, really take part in what we believe to be America, and hold on to America. It seems like it's fading fast. So we want to grab on, as many of us, and push that wave back a little bit. Richie, I think it's time for you to tell us about veteran-friendly automotive dealerships, and why they're doing so well, and encouraging other dealers.
Well, the thing is, they're very veteran-friendly. Like, you got Plaza Auto Mall. They basically buy any products from veteran or sell veterans. They're unbelievable. And also New York Auto Giant, which is Atlantic Auto Mall. They're very veteran-friendly companies, okay? The rest of them, and maybe sometimes they do the right thing by vets, but these people, like, they're into that. They're into really taking care of our people. And it's important to know that. And it's important that there's some dealerships that are not, and that's okay. Me, I'm all about the vets. I really don't care about any company that me and my partners have. What we care about is two companies, Richie Bello Institute and Clickable Institute. Why? Because the Clickable Institute, what we do is we find out how good they're in business, and right away we start giving them funding. Okay, that's what we care about. Helping the veterans succeed and grow, and that's why our White Dove exists. It doesn't exist for me to do marketing for anybody else, but for veterans, really. I have no customers on White Dove. I only have veterans, right? And that gets funded by one of our companies. So we really believe in helping the vets out at 100%, and will be one to tell you that. Don Brady will be one. That's why that company exists in 2016. When the nonprofits came up, that company came up. They were both together, the same URL, the same person. You look up the URL since then, because all it is the marketing arm for the vets. That's what it really is.
And it's also the marketing arm for ShopSmart, right?
Yeah, now it is, but in 2006, I didn't even think I was going to get ShopSmart. Now it is. So now we put that together, but it's really about the vets, and Clickable and LookSmart. That's the landing page platform, and all that. But it's not. It's really more about the veterans that we do. And I'm saying this here because a lot of people don't really know what Richie Bello was doing with the vets. Well, one of the things that I was starting to do was put them on Lightspeed and train them, but that didn't work for dealerships. So we decided, listen, let's help businesses for vets. We're going to make more money than just be for the dealerships. The dealerships are very hard to sell, list that, whatever. It's very hard to do business with them. So we decided, let's do this. And it turned out that we're helping more vets really succeed. And that's what the Institute's about, right? So to help the vets get on their own and then grow. And then the Clickable Institute, what it does is they make you grow because they're connected with the SBA and this, that. I'm going to mention a veteran that's very close to me since I started. His name's Jim Richards. Jim Richards has been in the VA, I don't know, for the last 8, 7, 10 years. He's always getting a promotion, so he knows his way around the Arizona. He's also with Richie Bello Institute, right, and with Clickable Institute. So what happens to him, he just got promoted as the VA marketing person for veterans businesses, right? So he's always been a part of the Institute, and Don Brady met him on live out when I was in Costa Rica. So you're going to see more of him because he's getting ready to retire. And he's been backing me up on everything. And I also got to mention a couple of people that have backed me up since I started the Institute. One is Lisa Copeland. When she met me, when I started the Institute, she was very impressed. She even wanted to do an event. At the time I wasn't. She's always backed me up on this. And that's another business that's outside of the dealership, but she's in real estate now. That's very veteran friendly. She believes in veteran so much. Denise Scotto, right? She's really into the vets. She's always out there. She's a trainer now for Low Jack and that. She's always helped me out. The two people that know me for a long time, and they've helped me out. Lisa has helped me out with the vets a great deal. We never got that event going because at the time I wasn't ready. But I got to mention that because she's really a veteran-friendly real estate, and whatever she does, she's a great entrepreneur. But she's there for the vets 1,000, 10,000%. She's very, very into vets.
What about your friend Amy in Washington or the radio station?
Amy's got a satellite radio station. Her name's Jennifer Hamilton, and she's got a great radio station. I've been to the radio station a couple of times. And when I started the Institute, we developed Memorial Day like here. Right, we went to Washington D.C. to where Congress is and all that, and we had a party for them, and they fought us on it. So if you look at Richie Bello West, you hear it on the footer, right on the bottom, the cloud, the thing that you listen to. It's like a podcast, and I was on her live show, right, and satellite, right. And she's into real estate, and she does a lot for the veterans. Her father was World War II. And she feels like it's important for her vets, right?
Well, it's housing, right? Tell us about what she does.
I believe that she does now real estate, but she always did. But I think she has family for vets when they first come out. She places them and all that. And that's one of her nonprofits. And she's very good. She's in Washington, D.C. I want to go see her real soon because she invited me to a radio station again. And I told her I was a little bit busy, but she wants me to go there. So I think I'm going to plan a trip, in a few months to go see them. And Mr. Clark's out there anyway. So that way we can really, talk a little bit.
Does anyone else want to say anything for today? Jeff, you have anything you want to wrap up with?
Just to thank all those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom, for all those that are currently serving. You certainly don't do it for the money. And you don't do it for the praise. You do it for a call of duty, service, God, and country. I want to echo what some of your comments were earlier, Gene. It's interesting in my travels throughout the world. One of the things that I was always impressed by was the IDF. And if you're not familiar with the IDF, that's the Israeli Defense Force. And the country of Israel is one of the few countries that requires young people to serve a minimum period of time in service. And while I don't mean to turn this political, I think this country could use some of that. I think today's generation has maybe lost its way a little bit. You need to think about the price paid by so many before you to give you the right to express yourselves. And don't stop that expression. That's part of why so many of us have worn the uniform, to give you the right to express yourself, whether I agree or disagree with your particular position. But on a day like today, of all days, please pay honor and respect to those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice. And if you do see someone in uniform, or if you know that they're a veteran, take the time to maybe tell them to have a great day and thank you, because it really does go a long way. And thank you to both you and Richie and the rest of the members here today. Proud to be a veteran, proud to be serving alongside of you today. And thank you, and God bless.
Well, I think we're going to wrap up, Rich, unless you have something more
Yeah,
you'd like.
I do. I always, when somebody that's either a veteran or a non-veteran, when somebody changes to success, right? I get very happy. One of the things that made me happy was when Jeff Clark got this new opportunity. It's a major company, so much growth, and it's data, it's this. I mean, it's unbelievable. I am so happy for him, because he has turned around so many business dealerships, vending, right? And he's helped me a lot. When I've been like down and out, this is hard, this, that, he's been a really good friend. He has pushed me to that level. He has really, Richie. He's pushed me tremendous. He is a very good friend, a good friend, apart from anything else. He is like really good, and he motivates people, and I've seen it myself. Mr. Brady over here is going to be a used car dealer. God bless you, you know.
Yeah, good for you, Don.
I am so happy with him, and especially what's going on now. And he's really good at what he does. He pays attention. He's very detailed, and he's a great merchandiser. He's probably one of the best merchandisers that I've ever seen in this business. I mean, really, I'm serious, you know. Not so much an advertiser. He is a great merchandiser. With an advertising company, this guy can just be like $1 gazillion.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful, and I clap the hands and salute.
Thank you.
These two guys, because they're unbelievable, both of them, of what they've done. Greg Wells, I gotta say this, throughout a year, maybe 2 years or 3 years, I've learned so much from you. He's got one of the best BDCs out there. I had a live show about BDCs and they were going to blow up, and I knew that Greg was going to lead the pack, because he's always the evolution. He came from Kane Automotive. The evolution that he's got is like unbelievable. So what he did with his BDC, he converted that BDC right into technologies, right? And now he's driving the technology together. It's great what he's doing. And you guys, anybody out there that's looking at his unbelievable technology that this guy, that Greg has.
The name of the company, Greg.
I think he's
Greg?
Sorry, I was muted. All Call Business Development Center.
Okay. So they can reach you there. And I think that's an important thing that we've seen working with Richie, how much more effective working with a BDC, a virtual BDC, as opposed to an in-house. I mean, we had an experience in Orlando where a guy had 10 people in his in-house BDC, and then COVID hit and he ended up with one, and then having to rebuild after COVID just choked the horse. So if you're out there and you want control of your leads, you got to use a good BDC company, and Greg is the best. You have anything you want to say before we hang up here, Will?
It's an honor to be on the call. It's an honor to be with all these veterans. Thank you for having me. Just as Jeff said, just let's remember what the day is about. You know, as we gather together, let's just remember those that paid the ultimate sacrifice, because that's what this day is about. So.
And I'm just going to ask Donna, who's normally our co-host. I'm sorry I barged in on you today, but you know I'm a control freak. So, you have anything to sign off with before we go?
I'm gonna echo everything that everyone's been saying. It's an honor to be on this show with these great.
Yeah, these guys are great.
And you and for all the people that are out there that have served or are serving, thank you for your service. And can't say enough about the ones that gave the ultimate sacrifice. I mean, it could have happened to any one of us. And
yeah,
we all took that oath, and we knew what we were taking that for, and we made it through it. And I'm honored to be a part of it. So thank you.
And David, you want to say goodbye?
I think he's muted.
Okay.
You're muted.
I'm
He's
back.
got 4 kids. It better be good.
I'm back. No, I was saying, gentlemen, it was an honor being on the show with all of you guys. Jane, Richie, thank you for the invite. I mean, today is a special day, and we all want to make sure that we don't lose memory of those that have paid that ultimate sacrifice. So much respect to them, to their families, and then to the veterans that are currently living their life, and to those who are still in active duty. You know, wish you all the best that life could possibly afford you.
Thank you, David. You know, guys, I just want to say finally that I'm grateful to have this time with you and to share. And if you can continue to share as you go through life, that experience, and keep America, America, Mama Jean would really appreciate it. Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you, you guys. God bless you. And
Thank
it's
you.
unbelievable what you guys have done. It's unbelievable you guys are sharing this with us. Thank you. That really motivates me a lot. Thank you. God bless you all.
Bye-bye.